Ladies and gentlemen, Pittsburgh guy here. This next video is going to be a ranking of the Star Wars movies, the movies, not um, the side projects like Rogue One and Solo, or the series, the mini series like Obi-Wan and Mandalorian. Even though I'd love to include them, so I'm just going to do the movies, 1 through 9, prequel, sequel, original. Number 9 is not my least favorite, but it's the end of the line. Number 1 is my favorite of all time. And like I said, 9 and 8 doesn't mean I don't like them at all. I mean, I like them all. I mean, I have my own, my own opinions like everybody else does about certain movies, but I still like them all because they're Star Wars, Skywalker Saga, and so here we go. Number 9 through 1, 1 being my favorite.
This movie featured a lot of Luke Skywalker. The cinematography was great. The action scenes were good. But this is not the Luke Skywalker that I was fond of. And I thought they could have done a better job with him. Now in this movie, this Luke Skywalker was a better version of himself. But once again, he had very little screen time. And there was too much fan service. Even though I love that, but there was too much. The action was good, but Palpatine went out easy again. Just wasn't very likable for me. Now this movie had a lot of potential. It started out good. I liked the action set pieces. Kylo Ren's character was okay. Han Solo, I didn't like how he died. Luke Skywalker wasn't featured till the very end, but the movie was the search for him, so it was kind of exciting. But it was a reboot of A New Hope, nonetheless. Now this was a fun movie. It arguably had one of the greatest lightsaber battles of all time, Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan Kenobi. The pod racing was great. Meeting Skywalker's mom was fantastic. And seeing the rise of Palpatine was a nice little nod to the rest of the series. This movie featured the most Jedis lighting their lightsabers, igniting their lightsabers, more than any other movie, and we saw a lot of big battles. Seeing Yoda strap up for the first time and take on Count Dooku, Darth Tyrannus, was one of my favorite scenes, and we got a little bit more Palpatine trying to take over. It was a fun movie, and Hayden Christensen did a very good job playing a conflicted character. I wanted to rate this one higher, but it's going up against some pretty good movies. This movie here had Anakin the way I've always wanted to see him, as close to his prime as possible. The love story was still there. Obi-Wan and Anakin and their dynamic was phenomenal. The lightsaber battle at the end, with also Palpatine finally taking on Mace Windu and Yoda. It was a great scene to behold. This movie is a classic, ranked by most people as number 1. I ranked it a little bit lower. Doesn't mean it's any worse or any better. It is a phenomenal movie. From being on Hoth, the set pieces, the music. We heard the Imperial March for the first time. Darth Vader reveal at the end with Luke Skywalker was probably one of the greatest twists in cinematic history. I didn't say it was the greatest, but one of the greatest. And the movie flowed all the way through with zero effort. It was just a nice, action-packed paced movie where the bad guys get to win. The first movie I ever saw at age 5 or 6 in, I believe, 77, 78 at the theater with family and friends. This movie was captivating. I've never forgotten the feeling of being in that car and looking up at the huge screen, seeing Luke Skywalker hold a lightsaber for the first time, and the final match with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, as well as the destruction of the Death Star and that exciting set piece at the very end. This is easily my number one because of the arc of Luke Skywalker, one of my favorite heroes of all time in cinema. We saw him go from a wide-eyed boy in A New Hope to a somewhat rebellious teenager in Empire Strikes Back, and to become a full-fledged, wise, powerful man in Return of the Jedi. And he pretty much, every scene he was in, owned it. He talked back to the Emperor, he choked a couple Gamorrean guards and went in and fought with Vader, and he and Vader were both holding back. Neither one of them went full force on each other. But Luke did gain the upper hand, as I do believe he tapped into the dark side of the Force. But all in all, a great movie, a great ending to the saga, and I truly believe 1 through 6 is the Skywalker Saga. 7, 8, and 9, no disrespect, but it just doesn't work for me that way. Even though The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett are continuing the story very nicely. Thank you for watching.